Okay, here we go. Good evening, everybody. I'd like to call the meeting to order. Could you all please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance? Can I have a roll call, please?
Councillor Clements?
Present.
Councillor Langevin?
Present.
Councillor Marcucci?
Present.
Councillor Moriarty?
Present.
Councillor Nicola?
Present.
Councillor Peliquin?
Excused.
Councillor Regis?
Present.
And Councillor Vandal.
Excused.
6 here.
Thank you. Agenda item number 3, consider and accept Town Council meeting minutes of Monday, June 10th.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion, corrections? Roll call, please.
Councillor Langevin?
Yes.
Councillor Marcucci?
Yes.
Councillor Moriarty?
Yes.
Councillor Nicola?
Yes.
Councillor Regis?
Yes.
Councillor Clements?
Yes.
6 yes.
Thank you. Agenda item number 4, subcommittee reports, A, General Government. Councilor Regis.
Thank you, Madam Chair. A meeting of the General Government Subcommittee was held on Tuesday, June 18, 2013, in the Rice Conference Room. In attendance were Chairwoman Regis, Committee Member Councilor Langevin, citizen members Larry Spinelli and Michael Janes. Also in attendance were Councilor Nicola, Councilor Clements, Councilor Vandal, Councilor Marcucci, Town Manager Clark, Police Chief Charette, Will Canoyer, Margaret Morrissey, Karen Hanois, Mindy Ernst Fournier, Roland Larochelle, Kim Farron, Nick Tortis, Rose Canoyer, Judy Payer, Dave Payer, and Ryan Rutka. Councilor Peliquin was excused. Chairwoman Regis called the meeting to order at 7:03 p.m. Agenda item number 1 was vote to ratify the personnel rules and regulations as revised June 5, 2013, and submit to council. Mr. Clark said he has had the HR assistant update the rules and regulations. This is a guide for non-union employees. It does not change or impact any union contracts. Councilor Marcucci inquired about the police and fire residency requirement. Mr. Clark stated the rules and regulations state the law as it presently is. A decision was made about 3 months ago by the head of the Civil Service Commission that all police and firefighters had to live within the Commonwealth. Mr. Clark said they are not requiring current personnel to comply with this requirement unless we are forced to do so by the state. Mr. Clark will provide the decision to the Town Council to see if there's a grandfather clause in it. A motion was made by Larry Spinelli and seconded by Councilor Langevin with a favorable recommendation to Council to accept agenda item number 1 as written. Vote by show of hands, all in favor, 4-0. Agenda item number 2 was vote to enter into executive session according to Mass General Laws, Chapter 39, Section 23B, to discuss litigation regarding the purchase, exchange, taking, lease, or value of real property. A motion was made by roll call to enter into executive session and return to open session for adjournment only. Vote by roll call, 4-0. Entered into executive session at 7:50 p.m. Re-entered from executive session at 8:35 p.m. A motion to adjourn was made by Councilor Langevin and seconded by Councilor Nicola. Vote by show of hands, all in favor, 4-0. Meeting adjourned at 8:35 p.m. Respectfully submitted, Evelyn Rivera, recording clerk. And if there is another meeting scheduled, it will be by someone else. Madam Chair, thank you.
Thank you very much, Councilor. B is DPW, Department of Public Works Subcommittee. A meeting of the DPW Subcommittee was held on Wednesday, June 19th in the Rice Conference Room. In attendance were Chairman Vandal, Subcommittee members Councilor Marcucci, Citizen Member Mark Morin. Also in attendance were myself, Councilor Clements, Councilor Moriarty, Town Manager Christopher Clark, DPW Director Heather Blakely. Councilor Peliquin and Jim Pioppi were excused. Chairman Vandal called the meeting to order at 7:05. Agenda item number 1, vote to authorize the town manager to enter into an intermunicipal agreement with CMRCP to expand its GIS, which is the Geographic Information System, in an amount not to exceed $4,000 and to submit to council for ratification. Funds available under water capital in current FY 2013. Mr. Clark said this is an expansion of our current GIS. CMRCP will assist all town departments to increase the use, expand, and update the current GIS. A motion was made by Councilor Marcucci and seconded by Mark Moran with a favorable recommendation to council to approve agenda item number 1 as written. Vote by a show of hands, all in favor, 3-0. Agenda item number 2, vote to authorize the town manager to enter into an intermunicipal agreement with the town of Spencer to join with 29 other local cities and towns as part of the Central Massachusetts Regional Stormwater Coalition in an amount of $2,833 and to submit to council for ratification. Ms. Blakely said we were asked to join this coalition after it had already been formed. This is a multifaceted service which provides collective training, resources, equipment, and knowledge regarding regional stormwater. A motion was made by Councilor Marcucci and seconded by Mark Moran with a favorable recommendation to council to approve agenda item 2 as written. Vote by a show of hands. All in favor, 3-0. Agenda item number 3, vote to appropriate $125,000 from the sewer retained earnings for repair costs associated with lightning damage and to submit to council for ratification. Any insurance proceeds received will be returned to the Sewer Enterprise Fund. The current balance in sewer retained earnings is $1,646,739. Ms. Blakely said that on May 21st, lightning struck the wastewater treatment plant, causing multiple electrical and equipment failure. The cost for repairs will be reimbursed by the insurance company. A motion was made by Councilor Marcucci and seconded by Mark Moran with a favorable recommendation to council to approve agenda item 3 as written. Vote by a show of hands, all in favor, 3-0. Agenda item number 4, discuss sidewalks at Golden Creek and Big Y location. Ms. Blakely said these sidewalks are part of a bigger project. We have an appropriation from the state but cannot use it until the state completes its budget. Agenda item number 5, discuss renovations of Torrey Road, the start date and the end date. Ms. Blakely said the drainage has been done and they are waiting for the school closing to complete the work, which would be this week. Agenda item number 6, discuss Route 131 project. Are vegetation trees a part of the project? Ms. Blakely said that yes, vegetation and trees are part of the project. They are still in negotiations with DOT. Substantial completion should be done by July 15th. Other work will still be going on, but the major work should all be completed and should not be any major disruption to the traffic in the area. Other business, Councilor Vandal said he has received a letter from a homeowner on Brecknick Road which had damage done to her rock wall. Mr. Clark's will be looking into submitting a claim to the insurance company. A motion to adjourn was made by Councilor Marcucci, seconded by Mark Moran. Vote by a show of hands, all in favor, 3-0. Meeting adjourned at 7:45 p.m. Respectfully submitted, Evelyn Rivera, recording clerk. Since this is the last meeting of FY13 for the council, there will be no meetings, subcommittee meetings scheduled until July 15th, which will be the reorganizational meeting and the first meeting of the new term. Okay. Sorry, I'm sticking to everything. I'm sure all of you are too. C, Education and Human Services, Councilor Marcucci.
Thank you, Madam Chair. An EHS subcommittee meeting was held on Wednesday, June 19th in the Rice Conference Room. In attendance were myself, Councilor Moriarty, Citizen Member Holly Christo, and Martina Shea. Also in attendance were Councilor Nicola, Councilor Vandal, Councilor Clements, Town Manager Clark, and Mark Moran. I called the meeting to order at 7 p.m. Agenda item number 1, vote to ratify the agreement with the University of Massachusetts Medical School through its Center of Healthcare Finance for school administrative activity and/or direct service claims medical services for special education. I believe that's for a 2-year term, period commencing 7/1/2013 through June 30th, 2015, and to submit to council. Mr. Clark said this is a renewal of the current contract. The service seeks reimbursement of medical reimbursements related to healthcare services and to special education students. A motion was made by Councilor Moriarty, seconded by Martina Shea, with a favorable recommendation to council to accept agenda item number 1 as written. Vote by show of hands, all in favor, 4-0. A motion to adjourn was made by Councilor Moriarty, seconded by Holly Christo. All in favor, 4-0. Meeting adjourned at 7:03. Respectfully submitted, Evelyn Rivera, Recording Clerk. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Counselor. D, Planning and Development, Counselor Clements.
Thank you, Madam Chair. A meeting of the Planning and Development Subcommittee was held on Monday, June 17th in the George Parent Conference Room. Councilor Moriarty, citizens members Evelyn Petrelli and Jamie Staffslin. Also in attendance were Councilor Nicola, Town Manager Clark, and Cassandra Ackley. We called the meeting at 7 p.m. We had one agenda item, a vote to ratify the contract between the Town of Southbridge and Leonard Engineering, Inc. of Auburn, Mass. in the amount of $31,175 for engineering and design of improvements to the McCann Field access road and parking lot, and submit to Council for ratification. The project is funded through the Community Development Block Grant Program. Mr. Clark said we received 7 bids and 4 were chosen for review process. Leonard Engineering was the lowest bidder. Mrs. Ackley said the design will be done to divide the parking lot from the road. Discussions are being held to redesign the park. This is the design process, and they hope to bid out for the work in September. A motion was made by Council Moriarty and seconded by Jamie Staffson with a favorable recommendation to Council to approve Agenda Item 1 as written. Vote by show of hands, all in favor. A motion to adjourn was made by Council Moriarty, seconded by Jamie Staffson. Vote by show of hands, all in favor, and we adjourn the meeting at 7:20 p.m. Respectfully submitted, Evelyn Rivera, Recording Clerk. No meeting scheduled. Thank you.
Thank you, Counselor. Protection of Persons and Property, Counselor Langevin.
Thank you, Madam Chair. A meeting of PPP Subcommittee was held on Tuesday, June 18, 2013, in the Rice Conference Room. In attendance were Chairman Langevin, Councilor Nicola, Councilor Regis, Citizens Member Minnie Manor. Also in attendance were Councilor Vandal, Councilor Marcucci, Town Manager Clark, Police Chief Charette, Margaret Morrissey, Karen Harnois, Minnie Ernst, Ryan Rudger, Roland Larishel, Nick Tortis, Kim Farron, Will Canoia, Michael James, and Meadow Clark. Roger Cowett was absent. Chairman Langevin called the meeting in order at 6:35. Agenda item number 1, vote to ratify the reappointment of Nick Tortis as Director of Inspections for a 3-year term effective on July 1st, 2013 through June 30th, 2016, and submit to the Council. There was no discussion. A motion was made by Councilor Nicole and second by Monique Mann with a favorable recommendation to Council to approve the appointment of Nick Tortis as Director of Inspections for a 3-year term effective July 1st, 2013 through June 30th, 2016. Vote by show of hands, all in favor, 3-0. Agenda item number 2, vote to ratify the contract between the Town of Southbridge and Everbridge of Glendale, California as the Town Emergency Notification System for a 3-year period at a total price of $6,578 and submit to the Town Council. Mr. Clark said we previously was using the Worcester County Emergency System. Mr. Larishel said there was a correction to the cost of $7,105.17 as the first year as a one-time setup of $526.31. Subsequent years are $6,578.86. Mr. Larishel said the decision to go with Everbridge was due to the reputation in the unlimited. Not only Southbridge system is available to all departments, citizens can register under several methods for notification, including home numbers and cell phone numbers. There will be several training sessions on this. A motion was made by Councilor Nicole and second by Monique Manor with a favorable recommendation to Council to approve the contract with Everbridge as the Town Emergency Notification System for a 3-year period at the price of $7,105.17 for the first year and $6,578.86 for the following 2 years. Vote by show of hands, all in favor, 4-0. A motion to adjourn was made by Minnie Manor, second by Councilor Regis. Vote by show of hands, all in favor, 4-0. Meeting was adjourned at 6:55. Respectfully submitted, Evelyn Rivera, Recording Clerk. Madam Chair, I have no meeting scheduled at this time, but obviously that is on our agenda tonight, so I'm sure there might be a little discussion later on, but that's all. Thank you.
Thank you, Counselor. And I'd like to take this opportunity to thank all of the chairs of the various subcommittees for your service this year. It's greatly appreciated. You all did a great job. Thank you very much. Chairwoman's announcements. Just a few. This Saturday, June 29th, is Household Hazardous Waste Day. You might want to mark that on your calendar. Go up to the landfill, get rid of whatever you need to get rid of. If you were planning on bringing paper, please hold back because they won't have their big paper shredder will not be available until our September Household Hazardous Waste Day. Tomorrow is Election Day. Please make every effort to vote. There are a lot of things going on tomorrow on the ballot, including charter changes. We have 3 seats up for council, 3 seats up for school committee, and there are other things as well. But this is your opportunity to speak up in an anonymous fashion. You can say what you feel in your ballot. It's your town, and it's really time for you to take some ownership. The polls will be open at the community center from 7 in the morning until 8 at night. Good luck to all of the candidates who have chosen to run. I want to talk briefly about an issue that took place last week regarding a citizen and town government. I got a phone call from a gentleman who had an issue, and he had a couple of complaints about one of the employees in the town. And as he was talking to me, he brought up another person, another citizen, having yet a different issue with this same employee. And it was a serious allegation, very serious allegation. So I contacted the town manager and discussed the issues with the town manager. And let me just say that when speaking with this person, I asked him to have this gentleman who had this serious issue contact me. That was a week from this past Saturday. I did not hear from that gentleman until Thursday night. In the meantime, the manager immediately contacted the department head that would be in charge of this employee. An investigation began. And again, this was a serious accusation. That person who was doing the investigation contacted this gentleman, and I got a phone call on Thursday night. And the gentleman at that point told me that the information that I had been provided was completely accurate. However, the incident had taken place in the town of Northbridge. We were this close to taking the bread from one of our employees because I was given incorrect information. I was pretty upset. And I was upset with myself because I did not confirm it before I went to the manager. But the accusation was so serious that I wasn't going to wait. The point of this is simply this. I know town government does not always work as quickly as you would like it to. We all have issues in our life, and sometimes the town can help. Sometimes that's just what they are, your issues. But I was very pleased to see that immediately the government in this community started to roll. And fortunately, we were able to pull back before something happened that would have been tragic. I say this because tonight is my last time up here as your chair. I've been the chair of the town council for 3 years, sorry. And it's been an honor, a privilege. I thank the council for voting me in as your chair. I know that it wasn't always easy for you to have to listen to me, and it wasn't always easy for me to have to listen to you. And you knew that. But it's been a very, very important experience in my life. It is one that will always have a special place for me because it was an education, a huge education for me, and I've met a lot of people along the way. I do have one more year in my term, but it won't be as the chair. And I wanted to give you this little anecdote because this is what I see a lot behind the scenes, and it's not always what you see. Please know that town government is here for you. You might not always get the results that you want, but nobody ignores you in this building. Nobody. The last thing I wanted to say I want to thank Councilor Pam Regis, who will be leaving the council to get on with her life. And Councilor, you're going to be sorely missed because you are our resident expert on municipal revenue and accounting. You've shared so many important and insightful views coming from the government in another community. You have been a loyal and steadfast friend, a tremendous counselor. I'm going to miss you a lot. And I just want to wish you all the best in whatever life brings you. Town manager announcements, Mr. Clark.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Boy, I was going to say something similar to Pam, and I think I'm just going to kind of reiterate a little bit. I've been in government for, I guess, my 23rd year, and I have a hard time finding someone that brings competence and skill to the position better than you have in the time. And I know you've been here for the entire time in which I've been here, and I appreciate tremendously what you have brought to the table over the years. It hasn't always been easy, and you've kept me very honest, which I certainly appreciate, because there's certainly a lot of moving parts. But I do, as the chairwoman said, certainly appreciate your honesty, your integrity, and your intelligence that you bring to the table. And I think you've served this town very well. In terms of, just also for, I didn't know she was going to make an announcement about her not running for chair, so I've had two chair people that I've dealt with in the 5 years that I've been in this town. It's been Kathy Nicola and Steve Lazo. So I've had an opportunity to have very private interactions. Usually the manager deals quite a bit with the chairperson of the council. And I know I've said this many, many times privately to people that I just think the world of Kathy Nicola. I think she cares so much about this community. She has been a great guiding force for me. In the time that I've been here, you come to a new community, you don't know the community that well, and you need kind of a beacon to kind of set your course to. And I appreciate Kathy's guidance in the years in which I've worked for her and with her. So I do want to just publicly kind of say that too, because I certainly do appreciate our relationship, and I know that you're not going to be gone, but you're going to take a different role. And I can understand that. In terms of just a couple of announcements, we do have the public forum on the master plan is actually going to be Wednesday evening at Town Hall in the lower level at 6:30. The master plan has been developed over a good period of time. The action steps that are going to be covered on Wednesday night are the hows, now that we have the plan in a more developed state, and they will present some of the key recommendations, the most important action steps. Discover low-hanging fruit, what can we do quickly without expense, and priorities, what should we do first. So it's an opportunity for you to have any thoughts and a chance to sign up to help make things happen. So if you are interested in getting your input again, you will have another opportunity on this Wednesday night at 6:30 at Town Hall in the lower level. We do have information online at www.southbridgemasterplan.org, or you're always welcome to call the Economic Development Office at 508-764-5402. Just in terms of a couple others, I wish to acknowledge, I know the chairwoman has already said tomorrow is election day. I did participate or did observe the candidates debate, and was interested that there was not a lot of press in regards to the ballot questions. So I do wish to publicly thank the Southbridge Evening News and the TNG for doing some work on that to try to educate the public to the ballot questions, and specifically related to the charter that are on for tomorrow's election. Also, it was interesting attending the debate that I thought there was a few things that I don't always articulate everything that we do in town government. I always think that my job is to get things done, not to necessarily always articulate what we do and how we do it. But I realize that there are sometimes an importance that we do that. And the town does have and is currently engaged in active negotiations for the sale of the Wells Middle School. That Wells Middle School is intended to be an elderly housing unit. And I don't remember the number of units, but it's over 118,000 square foot building, so there will be a lot of elderly housing that's in there if we can come to final resolution. So I know there's sometimes things said that there's not efforts made in this area or that area, and sometimes that may be on me for not doing a good job articulating some of the initiatives that the town has been engaged in. So I did wish to just publicly announce that that has been, we have received a bid and we are in active negotiations to convert that Wells Middle School building on Marcy Street into elderly housing. Also, I'm very proud to announce we had, not this past Friday, but the Friday before, we have sold the McKinnon Training Center building at 114 Pleasant Street for $250,000 to a local business. The local business had basically burst out of the space that it was in. It had needed room to expand, and we negotiated, and the sale was closed. So we do have $250,000 in the bank account for the sale of property. And where that business isn't necessarily a new business to town, but I think it's just as important to make sure that we give opportunity for businesses to be able to expand and grow in the community. So I think it was nice to be able to accomplish that. And that is done and in the books. And then lastly, I just want to talk about a couple of recreation initiatives that we have. We have established a partnership with the state. The town of Southbridge will be operating the Petro Pool on Randolph Street. We will be doing it through a vendor, USA Pools. That vendor and the town have, well, the state has invested approximately $2 million into the facility, and they strongly encouraged us in order to keep the facility up. And in our partnership agreement with the state, it does transition from the state to the town. So we are charging a fee for folks to use the pool. The pool will go active tomorrow. I do wish to encourage, it is still a construction in process, so there are a few bugs that need to be worked out. They will be laying sod, so the grass will not be 100% ready, and a couple of the water features are still being tweaked and will come online shortly. But it will be open tomorrow, starting tomorrow, for the summer. In terms of the daily entrance fee, it will be $4 per person per day to Massachusetts residents. A season pass will be available, $60 per family, a maximum of 5 individuals, with $5 cost per additional family member above the maximum number of 5. A $30 season pass per individual, non-family members, or a $10 per senior citizen age 60 and over season pass. There will be other activities that will be conducted at the pool. They will do swimming lessons, I believe, and they will be formulating different programming. The pool will also be available for special events. I believe that either through our website or USA Pools website, there will be an application form if you're interested in using the pool for different functions. And I do wish to give an opportunity for our recreation director to get up and say a few words about another program that we have operating in town at the West Street School. So Ron Pluff, please.
Yes, Ron Pluff, Recreation Director. The program is a summer playground program for children 6 to 12. And that's not just for West Street students, that's for Charlton Street also. So any child in Southbridge 6 to 12 is available to attend. The program will begin July 8th, and it will go 5 days a week from 9 in the morning until noon. It will end August 16th. It'll go for 6 weeks. the charge is free. The children will also get free lunches before they go home. We're working on some special events during that 6-week program, but they're not completed yet. All the staff has been hired. The equipment's been bought or purchased, and we are ready to go, and we're excited because this is a program that's been absent for the last 3 or 4 years. Any questions?
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All set, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Mr. Clark. Okay. Agenda item number 7 is our swearing-in presentation portion of the meeting. This evening, the Town Council ratified the appointment of the new Fire Deputy Chief. His name is Paul Normandin, and this evening he's going to be sworn in.
Good evening, Council. I just want to take the opportunity to say thank you for allowing us to do this ceremonious swearing in. And with that, I'll turn it over to Maddie, who can swear him in. And then Paul's wife, Lisa, will pin him, and then we'll move on.
Yes. Oops.
Would you care to raise your right hand, please? Do you, Paul Normandin, solemnly swear to perform all duties incumbent of you as a Deputy Chief for the Town of Southbridge faithfully and impartially according to the laws of the Commonwealth and abide by the Charter and bylaws of the Town of Southbridge, so help you God?
I do.
Thank you. If you would just sign right here, please. Thank you. Congratulations.
Town Manager, Council, I'd like to say thank you for putting me through the interview process here for the position of Deputy Fire Chief. Special thanks to Chief DeFranzo for allowing me to just kind of go and find my way through the Southbridge Fire Department. As we all know, times are trying, finances and budgets are difficult, but we're going to make it through it, and I really enjoy my time being here right now. Thank you.
Okay, next, Ms. Laurie Dunleavy is going to give us the announcement of the Town of Southbridge Scholarship Awards for 2013.
Good evening. Thank you for inviting me here this evening. After 3 years of inactivity due to lack of funds, the Town of Southbridge Scholarship Committee reorganized in April. Members are A.J. LaRochelle, Al Lonnie, Anna Smith, Amy Allen, and myself. The estate of Diana G. Lazinski, a former teacher at Charlton Street School, presented a bequest of approximately $91,000 for a scholarship fund. Diana was a personal friend and colleague. She dedicated her life to the children of Southbridge, teaching 3rd grade for most of her career. Science was her forte, and Diana brought the ecological world into her classroom. Long before recycling was popular, she taught her students to redeem cans and bottles in the class recycle center. They would earn points which would be used to purchase books for their class library. Diana spent countless hours searching the tide pools of Cape Cod Bay, taking pictures of the ecosystems to share with her classes. Due to her generosity, more than 32 recipients will benefit from scholarships in the amount of $2,000 per year for many years to come. The only stipulation for this award is that the applicant must have attended Charlton Street School for a minimum of 1 year, and special preferences given to her former students. Worthy to note is the fact that this scholarship is not limited to graduating seniors. Anyone pursuing post-secondary education or vocational training is eligible to apply as well. So anyone obtaining a master's degree or going through a career change or finishing up a degree and in need of money can apply for the scholarship. Casella Waste Systems Incorporated has committed to donate $15,000 a year for the remaining life of the landfill, thus providing the committee the opportunity to award a second yearly town scholarship. This year we gave 3 scholarships in the amount of $2,500 each. Casella's stipulations are that the applicant must be a resident of Southbridge and pursue a focus of study in environmental science or a comparable field. The committee was presented with many highly qualified applicants from Southbridge High School and Bay Path Vocational High School. The committee chose 5 outstanding young men and women. It gives me great pleasure to introduce the first recipients of the Diana Lazinski Scholarship in the amount of $2,000. From Southbridge High School, Tanisha Espino, who will attend Assumption College and major in pre-med. From Bay Path, Christopher Hart, who will attend Johnson & Wales and major in criminal justice. The first recipients of the Casella Scholarship in the amount of $2,500 each. From Southbridge High School, Kelsey Aponte, who will attend UMass and major in microbiology. Michael Doust, who will attend Syracuse University and major in electrical engineering, and Nicholas Cantara, who will attend the University of New Haven and major in arson and fire investigation. And I'm proud to have Nick here tonight to introduce to the council. Michael is away at a competition, so I'm hoping that his mom will come and get his certificate for him. The Southbridge High scholarships were presented at graduation, but because of the shortness of time that we had this year, we did miss Bay Path's award ceremony, but the letters of award were mailed to the Bay Path recipients. So all of the recipients know that what they've received, the awards, and we're very proud of the applicants that we had this year. So I'm going to have Nick just come up so you can see him. Nick? Yeah. There you go. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Nice job. Maddie, do you want Michael's? You're welcome. I'll be happy to entertain any questions if you have any. If not, thank you very much.
Thank you very much for all your hard work. I know that's a very difficult decision to have to make.
It was actually very enjoyable.
Well, good. I'm glad to hear that.
Thank you.
It's nice to see you, Laurie. Excuse me. Okay. We have one last department presentation. Last but not least, Jacob Edwards Library and its director, Margaret Morrissey.
Thank you, Madam Chairwoman, Town Manager, and members of the Council for this opportunity to present some of the highlights of the work we do at the Jacob Edwards Library. Sorry, this will be just a sec. I think we're ready. Sorry about that snafu. It is my great honor to be the library director and to be here this evening. But it is the staff working as a team that provides the excellent customer service that makes the services at the Jacob Edwards Library really work. I would like to thank the staff for making the library the dynamic and happening place that it is in this community. The library is a 21st century service and has DVDs, music, games, computers, and much more. Free access to the internet is available. Even when the library is closed, you can still connect free of charge. The library is one town department, and we are supported and interact with all other departments. For example, there is a DPW employee who is based at Jacob Edwards Library. And we really appreciate the support and the assistance we receive from our colleagues throughout the town departments, because that's what makes it all happen, is we are all working together. Everyone is welcome at the library. It is the warm place in the winter and the cool place in the summer. Something to keep in mind tonight. To borrow items, all you need is a library card, and you get that when you show a picture ID. So it's a pretty simple process, and it's something we would encourage everybody to please think about, because all the services are free. We would like to invite you and the audience at home to come visit the library, check out the services. We have lots of programs, lectures, music, crafts, etc. There are meeting rooms for you to use, computers available, and you can review the latest materials published. The library strives to be the community place to be. The library will soon be celebrating its centenary in May 2014, and plans are well ahead for this year-long celebration, and we would like to invite everyone to come, because there will hopefully be things that will interest everybody in the community. And we have a plan, and it is posted on our website, and I will leave people go there to check it out. But this is a requirement as being part of the state library system, and it's something we take very seriously. The library is open 50 hours a week from Labour Day to Memorial Day, and in the summer we're open 45 hours a week. Hopefully there is something for everyone on the shelves at the library or available to download. It's all about the numbers. The library has over 77,000 books, 4,000 music CDs, 3,000 DVDs, and almost 10,000 e-books for download. The library receives its certification for state aid each year, but about 90% of the funding comes from the municipality and the taxpayers. And these are just some figures that were available to show you. But as you can see, according to the public library facts, on average, close to 87% of the operating income comes from the local government, so that's something to keep in mind. The picture would not be complete without reference to the Board of Trustees, who provide leadership and advocacy, as well as significant funding for our materials budget. The Friends of the Library organise fundraisers, support the programming, and promote the library in the community. The library supplements its budget by writing grants, and this year you can see some of our supporters. We provide recreational and educational services for the town of Southbridge, and as you can see, we have arts and crafts programs, art exhibits, food service for the summer, music, knitting, entertainment, etc. So there's a whole slew of different activities that we have available, and we would really appreciate if people would like to come and join us. If an item isn't available in our collection, we can always get it from another library, because we're part of a statewide resource sharing activity, which we have a delivery 5 days a week to Southbridge, which is phenomenal. And of course, I should say, there's no charge to the patrons, so that's something to keep in mind. That's true for all our services, but it bears especially mentioning when you're talking about being able to get a book from Boston Public Library and have it delivered in possibly 2 days and no charge to you. All you have to have is your library card in hand. The library has a digital library, and some of the town's history is already available there. So you're only a click away, for example, from the Southbridge yearbooks. And so you go to the Jacob Edwards Library website to obtain the access. Southbridge is also the Southbridge Evening News on its... Actually, the Southbridge Evening News is available as a microfilm, and you come to the library to use it. But plans are afoot that we will be digitising more of our collection as we go, and especially as we are approaching the bicentenary, we are really feeling that we really want to have more information available so that people can share much more easily what's out there. And last but certainly not least, I would like to talk about the staff who make this all possible. I would like to thank everyone who works at the library currently, and also to people who have worked in the past at the library and have provided the foundation for which we have now at the library and where we're working from. It's amazing the kind of collection that we have and what we can do with it. And I really think that people need to come in and check the library out for themselves. You can see some of the staff here who are available to help you, many of people who you will know from the community, and I think that's what makes it extraordinarily easy, because you already have established relationships with some of these people already. And I would just like to mention that maybe to keep in mind that it's a free service, and in the current economy, when everybody is trying to make things go longer on the financial side, we would like to let you know that we are still offering free services at the library. And let's not keep it the best kept secret in Southbridge. Let's shout it from the rooftops, and I'm asking you all to be our ambassadors and help us get the word out in the community. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Ms. Morrissey. Does anybody have any questions for the director? Counselor?
This will probably come out fairly nerdy, and that's okay. One of the things that, I think it was about this time last year, when I had stopped into the library and was thrilled in a very nerdy way again, was for those of you who have used the microfilm and things like that, either for a school project or what have you, may remember just kind of the older machines, but now they've got basically a computer program that you can even just kind of, rather than printing it out, you can email the front page of the Southbridge Press from 1912 or something to that effect. Right there, you can sharpen the image the whole 9 yards, and for a history nerd like me, it's just fantastic. So I think it's a great job. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Moriarty. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Agenda item number 8 is citizens forum. Do I have any citizens wishing to come forward this evening? If so, please give your name and address.
Hello, my name is Paul Zotos, 312 Main Street. I'm coming to get a conversation going about our polling location. You know, it is election day tomorrow, and I'm a little concerned that there's only one polling place. I find it very strange that Wells is sitting there. We could vote at Wells Auditorium. We could be voting at Cole Ave. The Southbridge High Gym is available right now. All the elementary schools are empty. School's out. We could vote at West Street, Charlton Street, Eastford Road. I'm sure the Pleasant Street people would love to vote at the old Pleasant Street School. There's 300 of us living downtown. We don't have any place to vote. When I lived downtown, we used to vote at the Depot. We used to vote at Wells. Now we've got to walk all the way to Chestnut Street. By going door to door these last 2 years, I know the town wants more places to vote. This is something they used to do in Mississippi in the 60s that I used to read about when I was in high school. You know, one polling place. I mean, we've got all these public buildings. We're heating them, we're renting them, we're insuring them. They're all available. Why aren't we voting at Wells tomorrow? Southbridge High Auditorium, the elementary schools, Pleasant Street School, somewhere downtown. I mean, I'd walk up to Wells. Maybe we could have opened friendlies. I don't know. But I really think that a little old lady or somebody handicapped, or it's going to be so hot tomorrow, it's going to be very difficult for people to get to the Armory Community Center. And it would have been nice if there would have been someone I could go to and had brought this up earlier. But there was no one to talk to. There's no way to get these things done. We're down to one polling place, and I guess they count the votes in there. We don't even know what happens. All of a sudden, everybody in the town knows the numbers except if you're here at the town hall. Everybody who's inside or in the parking lot knows who won the election. All of us who wait here at the town hall, we don't know anything until the word trickles down to us. We get emails and find out who won. I used to film it. I used to bring it upstairs. It was very transparent for 10 years. And now it's gotten a little Mississippi burning is what I like to call it. And all these quizzes, this is what Florida did. They put 9 questions on the ballot, so that takes an hour. Now I understand there's 2 ballots. You're going to have to get in line tomorrow and identify yourself to get the town ballot. You're going to have to get in another line and identify yourself to get the state ballot. It would be nice if someone explained this tonight. I'm sure there's whispering going on right now. There shouldn't be. But maybe after I go home, I'll put the TV on, and maybe they can explain to us right now how we're going to have to vote tomorrow with this 2 ballot thing. Let us know about that. 'Cause I just heard it today, and I don't even know if it's true. And, you know, I get an interest in this thing tomorrow, so I'm not supposed to say that. But, you know what I mean? That's why I'm here, and please, let's open the neighborhood polling places the next election. Let's vote on it. See you tomorrow.
Do we have any other citizens wishing to come forward? Okay. Would you like to respond to that, Mr. Chair?
Yeah, just to, I want to make sure that people are perfectly clear in terms of what tomorrow is. Tomorrow has always been our traditional polling day here in Southbridge. There's always a town election. And this year, when Senator Kerry moved up to be Secretary of State, thank you, they created a vacancy. The fact that the state legislature chose the same day as our election day facilitates the need to have 2 ballots, 2 sets of poll workers, and I believe it's by state law that a local election cannot be on a state ballot unless special permission is received. So I don't think there's confusion. It just so happens that the filling of the Senate seat for Massachusetts happens to be tomorrow as well. I applaud Matty Dowse, the treasurer, the town clerk, for doing due diligence to get the extra workers to be able to make this happen. And we do have the 1 location, and the 1 location has functioned fairly successfully, and that was per the recommendation of the registrar of voters, I believe, as well as the town clerk. So the response to if there's changes in polling locations that need to be made, certainly I believe this council and certainly this administration has been responsive to what the town clerk's requests have been of us.
Thank you, Mr. Clark. Councilor Clements, did you have
Just
something?
one other clarification. The Pleasant Street School, better known as the McKinnon Training Center, has been sold. It is not ours to use. So I just wanted to clarify that also. Thank you.
Thank you. All right.
John Pulaski, Old Woodstock Road. I've been up and asked the same thing in past years. People talk to me, I said, why don't you vote? Because we do have, 10, 12% of the people that are registered in town come out for town elections. Some of them aren't going to pay $7 for a cab to get up on Chestnut Street. And even in the 5 or 6 years I've been back in town, there were other locations. For example, West Street School, people in that neighborhood, there are people, single-family homes. They still don't have cars because they're elderly, perhaps. But it's a little easier for people to walk a few hundred feet or a few hundred yards than to try to get up on Chestnut Street. And that's all that I think the last speaker was trying to convey, that when we have the 5 spaces, we have a higher voter turnout. And it may be a little more expensive, it may mean hiring a few more people, and it's probably a greater burden for the town clerk to go through, getting those votes to, getting all those votes in and bringing them, tallying them at town hall. But it is easier on the townspeople, and it does increase the voter turnout, and it is friendlier to democracy. And I myself would also like to see 5 precincts. The city of Worcester has them all over the city of Worcester. They have a higher voter turnout. There's a reason for that. If you simplify getting involved, like in past years when we had sweltering heat like this, you had your meetings at the library where it was cooler. And in much in the same way, if you make it easier for the people to vote, they'll be more likely to vote. Thank you.
I'd just like to respond to the fact that we always have our library meetings in August.
Well, August, okay.
Yeah,
Well,
and
when
that
it's 90
hasn't
degrees.
changed, Mr. Pulowski. Yes, Counselor.
Mr. Pulaski, excuse me. Could I just have those numbers, please, as to when we had the different polling places versus now and the voter turnout?
Which numbers now?
The numbers you're referring to, that you stated that there's a higher voter turnout when we had different polling places, I'd like those numbers,
Well, there's
please.
even a swing in recent years, right? Like, do you know what they are, for example? Like,
Well,
have
I'm
they
not
been
making
as high
a
as
statement, Mr.
15%?
Pulowski, you are, so I'd like the numbers.
I think they'd be more easily available to you at the town clerk.
You don't have the numbers.
I know there was a greater voter turnout.
But
Can you
don't-
assure us that they
You
were
don't have
lower?
the numbers, though.
The specific, I don't know what the numbers were last year, do
Okay,
you?
thank you, Mr.
The
Pulaski.
specific numbers.
Thank you. Thank
We
you.
asked the question.
Thank you very much.
I think the town
You're
clerk
not
could-
answering my question. Thank you.
But the
You made a
town clerk could.
statement, and I'm just thinking that if
Do you
you make a
think-
statement, you should have the numbers to back
Do you-
up
do
that
you think
statement, and
it's-
you're not providing that to me.
Yes, the question-
I'm a
you-
black and white kind of person, Mr. Pulaski. You're making a
I can
statement.
guarantee you that the people who live on the globe had an easier time voting at West Street School a few years ago than walking all the way down to Chestnut Street. That I can assure you, Councilor Regis, and thank you for your service to the town. Notice you weren't running for re-election. Councilor Vandal's the only one, but thank you for your service to your town.
Enough. Agenda item number 9, vote to ratify the reappointment of Nick Tortoise as Director of Inspections for a 3-year term effective July 1st, 2013 through June 30th, 2016.
So moved. Second.
Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Councilor Marcucci?
Yes.
Councilor Moriarty?
Yes.
Councilor Nicola?
Yes.
Councilor Regis?
Yes.
Councilor Clements?
Yes.
Councilor Langevin?
Yes.
6 yes.
Thank you. Agenda item number 10. Vote to appoint Fire Chief Mark DeFranzo as the town's representative to the corporate members for Central Mass EMS Corporation effective immediately for an indefinite term to replace our former designee, Fire Chief Richard Chesla.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Councilor Moriarty?
Yes.
Councilor Nicola?
Yes.
Councilor Regis?
Yes.
Councilor Clements?
Yes.
Councilor Langevin?
Yes.
Councilor Marcucci?
Yes.
6 yes.
Thank you. 11, vote to appoint Robbie Barton as first responder representative to the corporate members for Central Mass EMS Corporation, effective immediately for an indefinite term.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Councilor Nicola?
Yes.
Councilor Regis?
Yes.
Councilor Clements?
Yes.
Councilor Langevin?
Yes.
Councilor Marcucci?
Yes.
Councilor Moriarty?
Yes.
6 yes.
Thank you. I'm going to ask the council to indulge me and the citizens in the audience and at home. We have an awful lot of reappointments this evening, an awful lot. They're broken down into 2 groups, 1-year terms, 3-year terms. With the council's indulgence, I am going to simply state that all of the 1-year reappointments are from July 1st, 2013 through June 30th, 2014. I'm going to go through the agenda items one by one with each one of these people. I'm going to name the person and the board or committee that they're on, and we're going to vote by a show of hands. With that said, agenda item number 12, vote to reappoint Kathleen Shields as Animal Inspector. Any discussion? I do need you to make a motion and to a second. I have the motion and a second. Councilor Langevin, any discussion? Vote by a show of hands. All in favor? It is any noes? Opposed? 1. So it's
Oh, wasn't.
5-1. Motion passes. 13, vote to reappoint Arnold Lanny to the Central Mass Regional Planning Commission.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? Show of hands, all in favor? Unanimous. 14, vote to reappoint Arnold Lanny to Educational Fund Committee.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion. All in favor? It's unanimous. 15, vote to reappoint Arnold Lanny to the Scholarship Committee.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? Show of hands, all in favor? It's unanimous. 16, vote to reappoint A.J. LaRochelle to the Educational Fund Committee.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor? Unanimous. 17, vote to reappoint A.J. LaRochelle to the Scholarship Committee.
So moved.
Second. Any discussion? All in favor? We got a motion going here, good. 18, vote to reappoint Evelyn Rivera as Municipal Hearing Officer.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor? Unanimous. 19, vote to reappoint Yvonne Tortis as Municipal Hearing Officer.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor? Unanimous. Vote to Number 20, vote to reappoint Christopher Clark as Municipal Hearing Officer.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor? Unanimous. 21, vote to reappoint Nai To Lam as parking ticket clerk.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor? It's unanimous. 22, vote to reappoint Mark DePietro as public weigher.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor? Unanimous. 23, vote to reappoint Stephen Lovely as public weigher.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? Show of hands? Unanimous. 24, vote to reappoint Kenneth DeLage as public weigher.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor? Unanimous. 25, vote to reappoint Robert G. Caprera, Esquire, as town attorney.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? Show of hands? Unanimous in favor. 26, vote to reappoint Blattman, Bobrovsky, and Mead, LLC, as special municipal counsel.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor? Unanimous. 27, vote to reappoint Roger Narowski as Veterans Grave Officer.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor? It's unanimous. Okay, from 28 through 53, these are three-year terms effective July 1st, 2013 through June 30th, 2016. Vote to reappoint Calvert O. Toth to the Agricultural Commission.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor? Unanimous. 29, vote to reappoint Richard Clements to the Airport Commission.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor? Unanimous. 30, vote to reappoint Dean Cook to the Board of Health for a three-year term. Sorry. All in favor? Oh, discussion, sorry. I was just checking to see if you guys were paying attention.
No discussion.
All in favor? It's unanimous. 31, vote to reappoint Jennifer Vizard to the Board of Registrars.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor? Unanimous. 32, vote to reappoint Raymond Gauthier to the Cable TV Advisory Committee.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor? It's unanimous. 33, vote to reappoint Bonnie Lusavio to the Commission on Disability.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor? Unanimous. 34, vote to reappoint Michael Marino to the Commission on Disability.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor? Unanimous. 35, vote to reappoint Maureen Doyle to the Conservation Committee.
So moved.
Any discussion? All in favor? Unanimous. 36, vote to reappoint Bonnie Lusavio to the Council on Aging.
So moved. Second.
Any discussion? All in favor? 37, vote to reappoint Evelyn Petrelli to the Council on Aging.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor? Unanimous. 38, vote to reappoint Irene Montigny to the Council on Aging.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor? 38, okay. It's unanimous. 39, vote to reappoint Stephanie Sear to the Historical Commission.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor? 40, vote to reappoint Paul Muskie to the Planning Board.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor? Unanimous. 41, vote to reappoint Michael Reno to the Planning Board.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor? Unanimous. 42, vote to reappoint David Payer to the Planning Board.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor? Unanimous. 43, vote to reappoint Benjamin Chanthan Newfong as an auxiliary police officer.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor? Unanimous. 44, vote to reappoint Derek Julian as an auxiliary police officer.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor? Unanimous. 45, vote to reappoint Robert Lamoth as an auxiliary police officer.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor? 46, vote to reappoint Jordan Manthorn as an auxiliary police officer.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor? Unanimous. 47, vote to reappoint Santino Marcucci as an auxiliary police officer.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Abstain, Madam Chair?
One abstention for and 5 yes. 48, vote to reappoint Jesus Suarez as an auxiliary police officer.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor? 49, vote to reappoint Frank Leo as an auxiliary police officer.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor? Oh, sorry. Any discussion? I'm sorry. Out of turn. No? Okay. It was unanimous. Sorry. 50, vote to reappoint Susie Gears to the Recreation Committee.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor? Unanimous. 51, vote to reappoint Ken Pickren to the Trail Committee.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor? Unanimous. 52, vote to reappoint Lynn Bertrand to the Zoning Board of Appeals.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor? Unanimous. 53, vote to appoint Gregory Cormier to the Zoning Board of Appeals.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor? It's unanimous. Now, agenda items number 54 and 55 are not reappointments. The Redevelopment Authority and the Housing Authority are elected boards, and those two, I would be entertaining a motion to remove agenda item 54 and 55 from the
So
agenda.
moved.
Okay, so moved.
Yes, so moved, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Any discussion on that? Show of hands, all in favor? It's unanimous, 54 and 55 are gone. 56, vote to adopt the personnel rules and regulations as presented by Town Manager and revised June 5th, 2013.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion on this? Did you have something you wanted to say, Mr. Clark? No? Okay. Now we'll go back to normal. Can I have a roll call, please?
Yes. Yes. Counselor Clemens?
Yes.
Counselor Langevin?
Yes.
Counselor Marcucci?
Yes.
Counselor Moriarty?
Yes.
Counselor Nicola?
Yes.
6 yes.
Thank you. Agenda item number 57, vote to reduce FY 2014 Town of Southbridge General Fund operating budget in the amount of $330,000 as follows. Heating fuel, $20,000. Reserve for property repair, maintenance, and demolition, $25,000. Group health and life insurance, $85,000. Unemployment compensation, $10,000. Police electricity, $9,000. Fire electricity, $2,000. Street lights, $15,000. DPW operations electricity, $9,000. Library electricity, $7,000. Southbridge Public Schools, $148,000. Total budget revisions, $330,000.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion?
Just a quick question. Through you to the chair. I know this is obviously, through ed reform, a school issue to kind of figure out where those cuts are going to go, but do you know through communication with the superintendent's office as to where those cuts would be on their side?
Actually, just in terms of the cuts, I did inform the superintendent of schools fairly early on that we were doing this. He did indicate that they made the necessary reductions, but I do not remember if he had told me the specific locations.
Okay, thank you.
Any other? Councilor Regis?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Through you to the town manager, just the percentage.
Yeah, I was going to do just a brief overview that what we were able to accomplish is we went through we are taxing at full levy capacity. Now, I say that this time of year, every year I've been here, and we have never achieved that. We've always gone under that. So when we get to December and we set the tax rate, that will be the same objective again. At this moment, we are going to full levy capacity. What we did do is after that, we took out a couple of items that were town-wide. So the group health came off the reduction amount. I believe the reduction amount was 800,000. Yeah, 800,000. So with the taxing capacity, we did 85,000 out of group life, and the unemployment, 10,000. And then we do have an agreement with the school committee that the council and the school committee that it would be a percentage based upon the amount of allocation of the budget. I believe it's 62, 37, 60.
6337.
6337. So the apportionment of what was left, actually, when you exclude the 85 and the 10, make up the town side, and then the 148 comes from the school side. So we have used the same formula that we've negotiated in the first, I think it was the first year that I was here, so 2008.
And we're cutting $10,000 from our unemployment appropriation. Have there been layoffs on the school side that we're aware of?
There has been, the way the school does it is they have, and I saw the list the other day, they have various non-renewals and then ones that are resignations.
Mm-hmm.
The list is fairly extensive. I do not remember the total amounts. I would say that it is probably similar to or slightly less than previous years, and we have budgeted about $250,000, and I don't think we've come to the full amount of that this year, so we're kind of estimating that the 240 number, which with the 10,000 off, we should be about 240, should bring us still in the ballpark of what we would anticipate for I hate to say a normal cycle in the school, but the last couple years cycles in the school. We do anticipate, this budget does anticipate that there will be layoffs or non-renewals that will lead to unemployment compensation claims.
And we maintain our unemployment budget within the fiscal year budget. We don't have a trust fund or a special revenue fund that we transfer.
No, we have a pay-as-you-go.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Anybody else have any questions regarding this issue? Okay, can I have a roll call, please?
Councillor Clemens?
Yes.
Councillor Langevin?
Yes.
Councillor Marcucci?
Yes.
Councillor Moriarty?
Yes.
Councillor Nicola?
Yes.
Councillor Regis?
Yes.
6 yes?
Thank you. Agenda item number 58, vote to ratify the contract between the Town of Southbridge and Everbridge of Glendale, California as the town's emergency notification system for a 3-year period in the amount of $7,105.17 for the first year and $6,578.86 for the subsequent 2 years.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? Yes, Mr. Clark.
We do have a couple of folks from the fire department, and just to kind of let people know what we're doing, if they could do a brief overview.
Very brief. Good evening, thank you. Councilors, Mr. Town Manager, ladies and gentlemen, we discussed once you set it up, while Chad's booting up the computer, we have about a half a dozen or a dozen or so PowerPoint presentations to answer some questions that were brought up in the subcommittee. This is a community-wide warning system that we identified with the tornado and all the other instances we've had in the last several years, that a big hole in our system was our availability to get a hold of our citizens and our visitors and to alert them of any situations that were required. So Chief DeFranco and I have been working with several different companies over the past few years, and a lot slower than I wanted it, but we thoroughly looked at several different companies, and tonight we have Chad Steinhauser here from Everbridge, the company that we selected and we brought forward to you. So, because it's hot, I'll introduce Chad, and he will go on with a short presentation.
Good evening, council members. Thank you for having me. So as Roland mentioned just now, I've been working with these guys for about 7 months. They really put me through the ringer, so they wanted me to give you guys a very brief overview of what we've gone through so far, the benefits that this system will provide the community, and as well as administrators, town administrators. So I prepared this brief presentation here. So I just want to go over a brief introduction to our company, some information about who we cater to in Massachusetts. I'm going to talk very quickly about recent events that we've catered to that are similar to things you might have gone through in the past, and explain basically how the system will work for citizens, okay? So Everbridge has been around for about 10 years, a little over 10 years now. We're based in California, but we have an office in Waltham, Massachusetts, which is where I work. We serve about 150 million messages a year, and about 1 out of every 10 Americans is currently using the Everbridge system, currently lives in a place that Everbridge is being used. Okay? We serve all different verticals, all different industries, but I focus 100% on state and local government, so that's why these guys have been working with me, because it's what I focus on. A lot of the state and local government clients are here. We cater to everyone as large as the entire state of Connecticut, all the way down to hundreds of small municipalities, much smaller than Southbridge. Okay. About 1 out of every 5 people in Massachusetts currently receives messages from Everbridge, whether that it be because they live in a municipality that has an Everbridge system or they work for a company that uses us as well. So I have some of our more notable clients up here, as well as some that are not state and local government clients, but City of Boston, Worcester, Watertown, just to name a few. During Hurricane Sandy, we have hundreds of customers all up and down the East Coast that were affected by this. We served about 8.5 million messages during that time, and the reason I wanted to point this to you guys out is because in the worst of times, we can cater to people and send out messages, as you can see in that statistic at the bottom there, send out a message to thousands of people all at the same time in a matter of seconds. Right? So the town of Southbridge would have no problem in the worst of times sending out a message to every citizen, regardless of the type of device they want to receive a message on, whether it be text message, cell phone, home phone, email, fax, pager, TTY device, you name it, we cater to it. Okay, so our system is designed so that regardless of the situation, if cell phone towers are down, for example, it'll contact people via any means that it can until it reaches them. Okay? And I also wanted to explain how we helped the cities that were affected by the Boston Marathon incidents, because that was one of the things that I've talked to these guys about. All different uses for the system during that time, not just to communicate with citizens, but also for first responders like these guys to communicate with each other, to organize their plan of attack to deal with various situations. So this is not just used for communicating with the citizens once a year. It's really intended to be used on a daily basis for any type of need that any type of reason that you would need to communicate with either citizens, employees, or both. Okay? Now, our information comes from a number of different sources. So there's your 911 records, your data that's only used for emergencies. There's publicly available data, so your voter registrations, your yellow pages, white pages, things like that. And there's also a citizen opt-in portal that will allow you, the administrators, to gather information in addition to just people's home phones and their home addresses. Okay. Now, I mentioned that this is intended to be used on a daily basis. So I've listed a few different use cases here, different ways that the system is used by administrators to communicate with people, not just their citizens, but also their employees. So things like road closures. There's a change in the scheduling for garbage pickups, all the way to there's a tornado warning, there's a fire at this location, there's a shooter at this location. Again, you name it, any reason, any department has a reason to contact or be in communication with citizens, employees, or both, they can use this system for it. Now, most people, when I explain that, their first response is, well, we don't want to be bothering our citizens with things they don't care about. We don't want to get to the point where they're going to start ignoring our messages by overwhelming them. Okay? So I've given a screenshot here, and I apologize, it's probably tough to see. I can barely see it from the screen here in front of me, but this is a screenshot of the City of Boston's opt-in portal. Okay? This is what I personally, because I live in Boston, this is what my personal profile. But what this is showing you is some examples of the types of alerts that the City of Boston has allowed their citizens to sign up for. So if I wanted to, I can deselect some of these types of things, so I'm not contacted for things that I don't care about or that don't apply to me. Now, at the same time, administrators have the ability to make certain types of alerts mandatory. So if a citizen is in your community, they live there, you have their contact information, they're going to get an emergency notification if you want them to. Okay? But they can fine-tune this as they go. They have the ability to kind of take advantage of that flexibility. Okay? They can also enter in up to 5 different physical addresses. So rather than some of the competitors that I compete against, that these guys have also taken a look at, we give people the ability to be notified if something is affecting up to 5 different locations. So they're not only their home, not only their children's school, but their office, elderly relatives, locations, things like that. Okay? They can also determine how they are contacted in a given scenario. So for example, this is a screenshot of my personal preferences. I've only listed 2 different methods that I want to be contacted, my email address and my cell phone. Okay? So I can determine in an emergency situation what devices are contacted first, and that might be different for something that's not an emergency. So if it's an emergency, I want to be notified right away. I have them call my cell phone because I always have it on me. That's the best way to reach me. But for something that's not an emergency, more of a community alert type of scenario, I can have them email me because I'll get it eventually. Okay? So not only do citizens have the ability to determine what they're contacted for, but also how they're contacted in a given scenario. Okay? This is one of the reasons why Everbridge has such a successful or such a high percentage rate of citizens that go into the opt-in portal and identify what they want to be contacted for, because they have the ability to fine-tune what they're contacted for and how. Okay? Now, in addition to that, we take a very different approach from some of my competitors, which is confirming and quit. So what that means is, instead of in a particular scenario, whether it be an emergency or not, most other guys that I compete against will send a message to all of the devices that that particular citizen has, all at the same time, and in most cases, multiple times. So they're receiving the same phone call for the same message 3 times in most cases. With our system, though, in this example, Alan and Phil have identified they want to be contacted first on their cell phone and email respectively. Once they confirm that they've gotten that message, they're not going to be contacted again for that same broadcast. So if it's a cell phone or a home phone, they press 1 to say, yes, I've gotten the message. If it's an email, there's a link they can click. If it's a text message, they can reply yes. Okay? So it's, again, preventing them from being bothered in yet another way so they can really take ownership and fine-tune how they're contacted. Okay? Same thing goes for the rest of these folks here in this example. So because Dave confirmed on his second attempt, he's not going to be contacted again. And then administrators have the ability to configure how many times the system will go through and contact people. And there's a number of details we could get into here, but for the sake of this meeting, this is the general overview of it. Okay? Any questions?
I have one. Oh, Councilor Nicola? Yes, through you. Could you tell me who's going to coordinate all of this?
Coordinate what? So
coordinate
the implementation?
getting people to sign up for it.
Sure.
I'm assuming it's you 2 guys. Is that right?
Well, so I'll start off if you'd like to add something. So with all of my customers, the way that it works is we have an implementation team. So as soon as these guys give me the go-ahead, our implementation team will get in touch with them. We'll work with them to coordinate how they want to organize the implementation of this, because no 2 customers are alike. And part of that implementation process is not just getting the system up and running and teaching them how to use it, but it's also doing things like that, creating marketing strategies for them to get the word out to people. There are no 2 customers that will get the word out to people the same way. So everything from setting up a booth in your library, having a booth at a town fair, passing out flyers, putting our link to the opt-in portal on your town website. I mean, the possibilities here are endless, but the point is that Everbridge and our implementation team and our dedicated account manager, who they'll have for the length of the contract, will work with them to organize all of that and fine-tune it how you guys want.
And this, I want to just emphasize, is absolutely 100% free to the citizens of the community. This is something that we're purchasing for their benefit.
Correct.
They, signing up doesn't mean you're paying for anything. You're just giving out information that you want to be contacted through.
Correct.
Okay. Thank you. Anybody have anything?
I'm sorry. Yeah, and we could get into security measures as well if you'd like. But the data that they're sharing with you guys stays with you guys. Everbridge does not have access to it. And if you ever wanted to leave us, if you after your contract, you wanted to discontinue your contract, that data stays with you. Everbridge never has access to it. We don't use it for any other purpose besides to allow them to contact you guys when you need to.
Thank you. Councilor Clements?
Thank you. So they currently, occasionally, we get calls now on our house phone that with an alert, with something, a school dismissal thing or an emergency, or we get a phone call on our regular, in my case, a Verizon line. Will you have the ability to continue that port without people signing up, automatically, whether it's Verizon or I don't know if you do that with Charter too, or you do that if people have a home line now, a hard line, will they automatically be in the system at least for that line? It's all the additional measures.
Correct. So the opt-in portal comes into play to add things like people's cell phone numbers and email addresses, because the data that you're talking about typically does not have that information. So the opt-in portal really comes into play to supplement that data so that people can again fine-tune how they're contacted, because not everyone has a landline anymore, right? Exactly.
Absolutely. It's just, I'm just curious if it automatically will continue on those who do have landlines.
Yes. So part of the implementation process is actually uploading that data you're talking about, all free, all for you. So basically, they will be able to use this system right off the bat to contact those folks. And as people continue to opt in, that data will only get more and more rich, I guess you could say.
Okay, that's good. Thank you.
Any other Councilor Langevin?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Thank you for your presentation.
Sure.
To me, this is one of those things that's long overdue. I recall because I was in the tornado zone, and it affected a lot of people. So this is a great asset of getting information, important information out to the community. But it's only going to be as good as us, the town of Southbridge, and that was much discussion in our subcommittees of how to get the word out.
Sure.
And, whether it's the library, the town clerk's office, our festivals. And the more people that we get jumped into this, the better the system is going to be. So I just first want to thank the town manager, the chief, and more importantly, Roland did a lot of legwork here for all your time that you put in. No one said government does move quick. Sometimes we want to make it move quicker, but we're at this moment in time, so I appreciate everything, and thank you.
Thank you, Councilor. Anybody else wish to have any comments or questions? I want to thank you very, very much. This is really something that we do need. Unfortunately, in this day and age, it's more and more prevalent, so I greatly appreciate you coming out and explaining it all to us. Thank you, and thank you to you gentlemen very much for all your hard work in bringing this forward. Thank you.
Thank you for your time.
Have a good night. Be careful on the ride home. Okay. Any further discussion on this item? Then can I have a roll call, please?
Councilor Langevin?
Yes.
Councilor Marcucci?
Yes.
Councilor Moriarty?
Yes.
Councilor Nicola?
Yes.
Councilor Regis?
Yes.
Councilor Clements?
Yes.
Sorry about that. 6 yes?
Thank you. Agenda item number 59, vote to ratify the contract between the Town of Southbridge and Leonard Engineering Incorporated of Auburn, Mass. in the amount of $31,175 for engineering and design of improvements to the McCann Field access road and parking lot. This project is funded through the Community Development Block Grant.
So moved.
Second.
Okay. Did you want to say anything, Mrs. Ackley, or? No? Okay. Do I have any questions or discussion on this? Councilor Langevin?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Just really quickly, since we are starting to move forward on this project, I think it's really important for us as a community to reach out to the Little League and the Southbridge softball. They're such a big part of down there, what's going on. If we don't keep them in the loop so they can bring their opinions forward, we're not doing our job. So I just want that. I know this is the beginning stages. It's very important, and, you know, I was a board member on the Southwest Softball, and when I hear things, I do let them know, but I think it's up to the town to reach out to those organizations and get their input.
Councilor Clements is going to
Thank you.
address that for you.
Thank you. At the meeting, we did discuss that, Councillor Langevin. It was a priority on Ms. Ackley's part, and they are working with them in many areas of this project. So this is the design side of it, and they'll talk about some of that, and then they'll move on with it. But they certainly are reaching out to them, because that was a big concern.
Thank you.
Could I have a roll call, please?
Councilor Marcucci?
Yes.
Councilor Moriarty?
Yes.
Councilor Nicola?
Yes.
Councilor Regis?
Yes.
Councilor Clements?
Yes.
Councilor Langevin?
Yes.
6 yes.
Thank you. Agenda item number 60, vote to ratify the agreement with the University of Massachusetts Medical School through its Center for Healthcare Finance for School Administrative Activity and/or Direct Service Claims, Medical Services for Special Education for a 2-year period commencing July 1st, 2013 through June 30th, 2015.
So, second.
Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Councilor Moriarty?
Yes.
Councilor Nicola?
Yes.
Councilor Regis?
Yes.
Councilor Clements?
Yes.
Councilor Langevin?
Yes.
Councilor Marcucci?
Yes.
6 yes.
Thank you. Agenda item number 61, vote to authorize the town manager to enter into an intermunicipal agreement with CMRCP to expand its GIS, the Geographic Information System, in an amount not to exceed $4,000. Funds available under water capital in current FY 2013.
So moved.
Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Councilor Nicola?
Yes.
Councilor Regis?
Yes.
Councilor Clements?
Yes.
Councilor Langevin?
Yes.
Councilor Marcucci?
Yes.
Councilor Moriarty?
Yes.
6 yes.
Thank you. Agenda item number 62, vote to authorize the town manager to enter into an intermunicipal agreement with the town of Spencer to join with 29 other local cities and towns as part of the Central Massachusetts Regional Stormwater Coalition in an amount of $2,833. Funds available under specialized services in current FY 2013.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion on that? A roll call, please.
Councilor Regis?
Yes.
Councilor Clements?
Yes.
Councilor Langevin?
Yes.
Councilor Marcucci?
Yes.
Councilor Moriarty?
Yes.
Councilor Nicola?
Yes.
6 yes.
Thank you. Agenda item number 63, vote to appropriate $125,000 from sewer retained earnings for repair costs associated with lightning damage and to submit to council for ratification. Any insurance proceeds received will be returned to the Sewer Enterprise Fund. The current balance in sewer retained earnings is $1,646,739.
So moved.
Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Councilor Clements?
Yes.
Councilor Langevin?
Yes.
Councilor Marcucci?
Yes.
Councilor Moriarty?
Yes.
Councilor Nicola?
Yes.
Councilor Regis?
Yes.
6 yes.
Thank you. Okay. Agenda item number 64, Councilors Forum. Councilor Moriarty.
Okay. I'll try to keep it quick because I know it's warm and I know some are eager to get home to watch the Bruins game. So just quickly, I just wanted to thank the community, the Relay for Life. It seems I don't go any meeting without bringing it up. Was held Father's Day weekend. It pulled in, by the end of the event itself, what they had tabulated was about 185,000. And that number will climb. It'll probably top, I would hope and assume, 200,000 as it has just about every year. It was a big turnout, which was nice, and also thank you to a lot of the work that was done on a volunteer basis by the auxiliary police officers who were there, some of whom I think I saw pretty much from start to finish overnight and everything else, which is great. I'm also excited, as the council chair had mentioned earlier, the master plan unveiling on Wednesday evening. Having gone to a great many of those meetings, I think it's very important to see what exactly comes out of it and how to go about it, and I'm hopeful that that's something the council itself will kind of take as a referendum from the general public, from those who took part. Also, excuse me, a thank you to Councilor Regis, obviously choosing to ride off into the sunset. And one thing I can state from my own past experience when I worked for the newspapers and that sort of thing, covering different towns and their selectmen or here in town, the council, certainly when it comes to the municipal financial management part of things, I don't think I've seen anyone that holds a candle to you in that term as far as elected officials. So I just wanted to thank you for your service. And lastly, just a reminder and encouraging people to go vote tomorrow. Similar to what the town manager had mentioned, certainly hadn't been a whole lot of discussion as far as the charter questions, and some of them are fairly vaguely written or somewhat difficult to understand. So I haven't seen the Telegram's coverage of it as yet, but I did see the Southbridge papers today and thought that they did a pretty decent job with the basics as to what each one is. So I encourage people to take a look at that so they can make an informed decision. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Moriarty. Councilor Langevin.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I'll try to make it brief. It is just a little hot in here. First of all, I want to wish all the candidates tomorrow good luck. I thank you all for stepping forward. Campaigning is a hard job, but if you get elected, you're going to find out it's even that much harder after that. But I appreciate it, and I wish all the candidates good luck. The other thing is, I do want to wish Councilor Regis a happy, enjoyable journey, so well deserved. We do this because we do love our community, and we give back our community, and there's at times we agree and disagree. But for the most part, we can respectfully do that. And that's what it's all about, really. We all have the passion to do this. There's no pay. There's no glory in this. It's just giving back to the community many, many, many hours. And Councilor Regis definitely gave back her share in knowledge that goes a long way, because working with the town of Southbridge and then moving on to Webster, her knowledge is just unbelievable. And it's going to be a loss for the community because she knows the insides and out. So respectfully, I totally understand where you're coming from. Sometimes it's better just to back away and take a breath, and nothing says you never come back. The community really does get the point of what it's all about, and they really do know, the ones that really do care and stuff. So I wish you nothing but the best. And last but not least, there is no excuse not to get out and vote. I've heard it tonight of reasons why we can't vote. We did it for certain reasons. Well, again, we can agree to disagree. But first of all, most elections are during school season. That was a safety issue. So there's a lot of communities that are moving their elections away from the schools because of safety reasons. Second of all, if you choose not to vote, and there's a lot of people out here that I always say are the first ones that like to complain, but they don't vote. Those are the ones that complain the most. And if people want to criticize me for saying this, so be it. But you don't vote, don't call. You don't have a voice. And people might think that's harsh, but that's the truth of the matter. It takes a few minutes of your day to go exercise your right to vote, that people fought for our country to give us that freedom and right. So if you want to be involved in your government somehow, that's your way tomorrow. Take ownership, vote your conscience, whoever it may be for. But to not to vote and say my vote doesn't count, just excuses. That's all it is excuses. So this is our community as a whole. And that's all I have to say, Madam Chair. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Councilor. Councilor Marcucci.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I really don't have anything this evening except to wish Councilor Regis, good health, and enjoy your family. I know, Counselor, it's not easy. I've served many years with you, and I've always appreciated your professionalism, your integrity, and your knowledge of municipal government. And as we all know up here, government's not easy. Sometimes citizens can be cruel and harsh. And I think sometimes people think we take for granted our jobs and our positions. And you have to appreciate someone that goes out in campaigns, wins the election, and then they give of their time because they miss out. And we take that responsibility. We miss out on family events. We're at subcommittee meetings, sometimes 3-4 times a week. Even budget time, is a nightmare for all of us. And it's not a complaint. It's just some people need to realize the commitment that's given. And for anyone to give back to their community says a lot. So I just want to thank you, Councilor Regis, from the bottom of my heart, and I wish you luck. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Counselor. Counselor Clements.
Thank you, Madam Chair. A couple things. We had some question earlier. I appreciate Councilor Langevin mentioning the polling locations because, as many people probably remember and know, there were many reasons to change the locations. But one of the things that bothered me that was said this evening was the election tally process. And I've been around to see that numerous times. And from my perspective, I'm not the clerk, and so I don't have the rules and regs in front of me. But I do know that the doors are shut at 8 o'clock like they're supposed to be, according to the rules and regulations set forth by the state. And I do know that that happens at our community center. I also know that when the machines are tallied, the electronic machines spit out their sheets of paper, which is very different than the old way. When I used to work the elections, you had to wait, you had to crank all the sheets. There was little spots on there, and they had to all be cranked up and bring the rolls back to the town clerk's office right here in the town hall. But the process now is electronic. It's very different, and it spits out a tally sheet. And what they do now is they take those tally sheets with questions or candidates or whatever it is that we've been voting on, and they tape them up into the window at the community center. And they used to tape them in the window at West Street School, and they used to tape them in the window at the registry building, and at the senior at the high-rise, wherever it was that when they first started doing because I remember 4 years ago, people will wait. People who have candidates in the race a lot of times will have their workers go and wait at a window to see what the election results are. There's nothing inclandestine about that. There's nothing, that's not above board. That's the way it works. So when it is done at our community center now, our one location, the town clerk tapes up the tally sheets from each of those precincts' machines, and whoever is standing at that window at the time writes it all down or makes a phone call or whatever. And yes, we are in a digital age. Information is spread in seconds, as we all know, whether it's Twitter, Facebook, emails, texts, whatever it is we do, or just the standard phone call, instantly. You don't have to find a payphone anymore. And that information, rather than being carried to someone's headquarters or whether it's a national event or whether it's just a local, whether waiting at the town hall and anticipating that, the election results are instant for the most part, within 15 or 20 minutes generally, unless there's a problem internally. But we don't know that as we're waiting out there. We just wait for the little piece of paper to show up, and you write the information down. So I just want to clarify from the perspective outside that glass, they're following the rules there, and that's how the information gets disseminated for those who quickly send out 50 text messages or whatever to the people. So I just I didn't like hearing what we were hearing today. It's misinformation to the public, and so that bothered me. I also want to thank Councilor Regis for her years. You've been very informative, and 4 years ago when I came in, I knew little to nothing, so to speak, and as far as what you gave to me for information, it was amazing. You've always been a decorum of properness here on the council, and I really respect that. We've worked through some interesting agenda items and issues together, and I respect and appreciate all that you've taught me, and I hope to continue from the information that you've given me, and wish you all the best, you and your family, and the time you have to yourselves. So thank you. I only have one other question. As of late, through you to the town manager, this question goes. I've been asked a number of times, this is an employee issue, and it's kind of interesting that the chair had an employee issue. I've been asked recently in the last couple of weeks a number of times on an issue, and I've been very concerned about it and not know how to approach it. And so I'm going to ask the town manager on that. And generally, it's my understanding, employee issues, and I've always believed this from the first day I started, that employee issues begin and end with you. You oversee the department heads. We do not interfere in employee issues. That is your job. It is your purview. And while we may hear things on the street, we bring it to your attention. While we may, people may call us at times and ask us to get involved, it's your job to reprimand. It's your job to do all those, anything that needs to do with employees. So lately I've been asked a question and it's been bothering me, so I'm going to bring it up here. It's in regard to privacy policy in terms of former employees. People have asked me as of late whether or not the information is public record on when we have fired somebody, reasonings for fire. For instance, in the firing of our previous cable director, Mr. Zodos, people have asked me if I can explain that to them, and I've sent them to your office. I don't know if anyone's called you. So when a public employee is released, is that public information in terms of reasoning, or do you have to, is that private information in terms of reasonings for release? How do I answer somebody who says, well, why? And I say, it's not in my jurisdiction to explain that. I mean...
Yeah, that's actually a great question. I will try to make it brief. Unfortunately, it's not yes or no. Most of what employees do in the public sector is work that is part of your performance in your public duties, and that information, evaluations and such, are made available and are actually public documents. I made all my own evaluations that members of the council had on me. I made that available. I believe in that. There are some elements of a personnel file that are not eligible for public release. If there was medical information in there and other certain information regarding home addresses and things of that. Usually what happens is we have received requests in the time that I've been here. We usually send them to a labor attorney to actually vet out what we can and cannot release. A lot of times information is redacted. But if someone were to make a request, we would do that same process. And it is a public records request, so we do charge people for the research time and the cost per page. But certainly anybody that, within the scope of employment, within your professional responsibilities, that is part of the public domain and therefore is open to public scrutiny.
So reasonings for dismissal are considered public?
Sure.
Okay. I just wanted to know. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. I'm done.
Thank you.
Councilor Regis.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I thought you were skipping me tonight. It is late and it is hot, and there are just a couple of things I'd like to say. And I should have written them down, but I did not. I want to thank all my colleagues. It's been a pleasure. My former colleagues also. This has been a learning experience for me. One of the things I am most proud of sitting here on the council was being a member of the Town Manager Search Committee that recommended Mr. Clark to the council to be our town manager, and I'm very proud of that. And agree with him or not, like him or not, he serves this community with the dedication and professionalism that we all deserve, being residents here in Southbridge. So please just remember that, and thank you, Mr. Clark. I appreciate you and what you do for this community. Thank you. Many of you know my story. I started here in the town hall when I was 18 years old, and literally grew up here. I worked here for 11 years with many of the employees who are still here. And I appreciated that. I chose this profession because it's constantly moving. Every day is something new, and it's never dull. My position in Webster, unfortunately, is not a 9-to-5 job, and there have been comments made about my missing meetings and things like that, and I take those to heart. And I just want everyone to know that I never took my time here for granted, and I always tried to be here. That's really all I need to say, other than I just want to thank you, the residents of Southbridge, for giving me this opportunity to serve you for the past 6 years, and it has certainly been my pleasure to do so. And thank you very much.
Okay. A discussion of next meeting date? Councilor?
Y'all come back now, you hear? Sorry, it's a Western thing. Had to do it. Next meeting date, the reorganizational meeting, which is scheduled for the next regularly scheduled meeting, which will be July 15th, right here in council chambers at 7 p.m.
Thank you, and can I have an adjournment? All in favor? Meeting's adjourned. Good night, everybody.